delivery of the estimates of revenue and expenditure for 2020, $1.5 million was allocated for upgrade work on the St. George's Market. However, with the onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent limited state of emergency to prevent the spread of the virus on the island, certain decisions had to be taken as it relates to the St. George's Market. While there are many speculations in the public domain about the reopening of the facility, Permanent Secretary for Infrastructure, Marina Jessame, says the rehabilitation of the St. George's Market is one of the priority areas of the government, with an increased investment of $4.5 million, more than what was budgeted, taking the investment figure to $6 million. There are delays with the reopening of the facility, however, it is all in keeping with the work that is now ongoing that will improve the overall standard of the St. George's Market. The work ongoing includes the sanitization of the market, cleaning and painting of grills, and those that are needing repairs marked for replacement to avoid any injury to people. Extensive work has already been done on the cleaning of the roof and the stalls as well. Work on Building 1 and 2 is experiencing some delays as some of the vendors were not cooperative as others in removing their goods.
We wrote letters, as of the 6th of August, we wrote letters to 13 vendors who did not remove all of their goods from the booths. The idea is that we wanted Building 1 to meet sanitary standards. It was not tiled, while Building 2 was always tiled. So with the sanitization, which involves cleaning of the windows, the louvers, everything, the ceiling, we also tiled the floor.
Going forward, vendors will have to adhere to the established rules and protocols for the running of the St. George's facility. P.S. Jessame says while construction and rehabilitation work is ongoing, it's only one aspect of the work. They will also be looking at the management system of the market. When you look at the Grenville facility, she says, the way it's managed and vendors are regulated makes it extremely comfortable for people to conduct business.
When you compare the two markets, that is Grenville Market and St. George's Market, you would see that Grenville Market has far more structures in place, and that is why it is easier to manage. But because it's a new market, and when it was open, we have vending agreements. We don't have these things in place for St. George's Market. At this point, we would have worked with the market management as a ministry for all vendors to complete a form, which is an application to resume vending at the St. George's Market. And I must say that that process gives us a lot of data about the vendors, the type of license they have.
The GIS also visited the Grenville Market and spoke with General Manager Hudson Codrington on the rules and regulations in place for the smooth operations of the Grenville Market. Mr. Codrington says in the operations of any establishment, be it on a small or large scale, rules and regulations are key components in having a successful operations as you are dealing with people of different personalities.
Well, one of the things that has really helped us is that we have a contractual agreement, basically a license agreement that vendors have to sign every year. And in that license agreement is written what they're allowed to sell, what they're not allowed to sell, etc. That system does need a little bit of strengthening, but at least we have it in place, and that it really helps a lot. If you don't have any system at all, then you have nothing to fall back on. But we could do with a little bit of tweaking of it. I mean, as with anything in life, that helps a lot. It does. You have to have a structure, but you have to be careful that it doesn't become too rigid. But at the same time, too, you have to make sure that people know that there's a limit and they shouldn't really be going past that limit. I think we as human beings, we want that. We want a certain amount of limit as well, even though sometimes, people kick against it. But, sometimes you have to explain yourself to them, basically let them know what it is you're trying to create. And most of them will fall in line. Some of them, maybe after a while, they will see that it's beneficial for them, and then eventually they will come along. One of the challenges with the St. George's Market, and it's a challenge that's been there from ever since, is that they never went through what Grenville went through, where they basically you start from fresh. It's like with a computer hard drive. You format the drive, you erase everything, and then you put a new operating system there. And I think that is one of the problems that they face. So they're basically trying to build on something that was there already, trying to correct behaviors that have been established and cast in concrete. And that is one of the challenges that management down there is going to face, and it's a tough one. It's because people don't want to change. You know, if they come and they meet something different, they might adapt to suit. But if they're already established there and that's how they behave, it's very difficult to get them to change.
Most of the vendors at the St. George's Market are there as part of families who for years have been vending without proper license. Some of the vendors are there over 35 years. In some cases, the family member started with vegetables, now the successor family member who have succeeded selling dry goods and subsequently moved to food vending. So there is need to reorganize the market. P.S. Justimus says as a result of this reality, there is an urgent need to reorganize and implement structures for the effective operations of the St. George's Market.
Because you would like to have all the persons selling food in one area of the market. And we will be working with the Ministry of Tourism and GTA to color code the market. So when you see blue, you know this is that section. When you see, because it must be a place where people go and it is part of the destination marketing of Grenada. And so it is important that we reorganize. In all the meetings with the vendors, we already inform them that they will have to sign vending agreements. And that agreements will specify what you can do and what you cannot do in the market. We must come to consensus what can happen and what cannot happen in the market. And we will work together with the Vendors Association, but we will enhance the operational management. We will also look at the management team to enhance and strengthen and support them as well. And also I must say that with this project, while in the 2020 estimates of revenue and expenditure, we had an allocation of 1.5 million for the market. With all the work that we're doing there, we now have an approximate expenditure of 6 million. So this is not a cheap project, it's an investment. And so we must make sure that vendors and all citizens alike who use the market can get return on their investment. And that is the mission we will take to make sure that we give residents, vendors, all the stakeholders of the market, that they will be able to benefit from this investment.
Once the work have been completed, the St. George's Market will become a new space that will be maintained with a quarterly cleaning schedule in addition to what will be done on a daily basis.
A very important part of the project is that we incorporate those vendors that are not selling right now, especially the males in the project. And last week when I went there, I saw a lot of smiles because, as they say, P.S. we could touch something. So while they are not selling, we make sure that we look at the side. I want to make sure that as a ministry, we do implement programs with care. The caring for the persons are important to us. And so some of them we arranged with the contractor to also employ them, and so they become part of the project. And that is why we are fast-tracking the work as well so that we can meet the deadlines.
When completed, vending in the registered zones will resume. I am Sherry Ann Noel. Thank you for viewing.